WJBW is made possible by sausage. Stick one in your mouth.
Hey, all you racists out there, you should not be listening to our show because we do not like you. JB Red Show.
Next.
Bob Leamy is the one guy that I know that has a drill bit big enough to do a big, nice glory hole at any truck stop he goes to.
You're very silly. You know that. It's silly, man.
Nope. Fastest man to woman. That's what we're going to do,
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't listen to some of our podcasts. Seriously.
That's where it's at.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh, some people are into that. I know there's a website.
Fucking asinine.
Some shit like that. You gotta do the Rocky Mountain ride.
Big disco.
Boy. Everybody do the Rocky Mountain ride.
Yeah, I like it.
Seriously.
That's right. It is the JB Rev Show. Welcome back to it. I am JB Webb. Across the way, riding shotgun over there. It's my man Jack Demarco.
Hey, what's up?
Breaking news, Badly. How you doing?
Good.
Doing double duty this show.
Yeah.
So appreciate
I'm excited.
that. Appreciate that.
Got big shoes to fill.
Well, you're doing a great job. You're also doing the news. That's what I'm saying. You're doing two things, breaking news badly. And so we won't have a Reverend's Revelation this week unless he calls me or sends me something. I will play it, Revo. Send it to me. But we just did a show for Maxine's. That was a big event for us. Great to help, raise some blankets for cold people. And so that was
and
awesome.
Some really good music.
And some great music, some great food. So always a great time out there at Maxine's on Shine. So this is a little bit back-to-back. Normally we do an episode a week, but we just got episode a couple days ago. You got another one today. This is our High Spirits edition. We are in full holiday swing. The moon is almost full. You see that? It's making people crazy, I think.
I read somewhere that it's going to be full
Thursday, I think, right?
12/12.
That's right.
At 12:12 a.m.
Yes.
It will be at its pinnacle.
Awesome.
Of fullness.
You're going to see that. And then, so this edition, besides the moon being crazy, we've got Roger Courville up at 7:30. He is actually from the West Coast, and he's a pretty interesting guy. He has his own podcast, For the Hope, very centric to biblical and religion. Christianity, I would say, more a personal relationship. So it's kind of a first time we're ever doing that kind of thing on this show. So I think that'll be exciting. We're going to talk with him. And then 8 o'clock hour, we've got Big Ron Betts. Local Legends session with that guy. That guy is an amazing musician.
Oh, yeah, he was killing it at the Tom Petty show.
Oh, yeah. See, when I had to dip out, you actually came in to the Tom Petty show.
He came in after a band called Sonar, who are some local guys.
How were they?
They were incredible. They played the Tom Petty part of the one they do at the Plaza, Jam Bando.
Right.
Oh,
okay.
So they're the Tom Petty band that played
nice
when they did that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're real good.
So those guys came together. Yeah, I was there for
so Sonar played
most of it.
and then Big Ron played to close out the night.
Yeah, on the outside
the outside stage, yeah.
But yeah, he's a great musician. We're going to learn about him as well on this High Spirits edition. As usual, we like to start it out. We've been throwing topics out there, and I will just share one of mine. For whatever reason, there's a particular phrase that just rubs me the wrong way. Do you have that, Jack? Is there anything that people say, or is it how they say it, maybe? You got a pet peeve?
We've talked about some when people say phrases wrong.
Right. When they say it incorrectly?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a pet peeve?
Yeah, like that. It's like some of those things.
One of mine is, and I don't know if you've heard this before, but when, somebody's explaining something to you, there's I feel kind of a lazy, authoritative way to close out a sentence when you're talking to somebody, and this is it. And I'm going to say it. And I try not to say it myself, but it is... Does that make sense?
So here's my take on that.
Yeah.
Because, we talked about this a little bit before we started. So, but I've been giving it some thought. Because I do say it.
Yeah.
I'll admit, I say it. I don't think I say it. I don't think I say it often. I mean, I have to I would have to ask my friends if I say it often. But here's what I think when I say it.
Says it. Yeah.
When I say it, when I feel like I'm not explaining something well to someone that I'm trying to get a point across that I like, sometimes like
you feel like
I'm like trying to explain it and I'm not
going
sure
the
they're
extra
getting
mile.
it. And I'm like, does that make sense? Like,
okay, well, see,
so maybe there's some tone in it.
Maybe the tone is
right?
really.
I'll be like, does that make sense?
Does
like,
that make sense? Okay, so you just put this into this. Does that make sense? Right? Yeah.
Yeah. That's a little condescending. But there are probably some other phrases out there.
But there are people, I guess, like you're saying, does that make sense? Like I really want it to help you learn something. Yeah. It's like,
if you're trying to explain like your feelings towards someone and you're like getting tongue tied and you're like, does that make sense?
Yeah. I guess in the certain right context, it could be totally acceptable. But if people use it a lot in the workplace, does that make sense? And, they...
In your workplace, perhaps.
In somewhere. Oh, they don't use it in your workplace?
No.
Does that make sense?
Not in my office.
No. Okay. Because people know what they have to do. Everybody's a grown up.
Yeah, everyone's
good.
I mean, well, let's not go as far as saying everyone's a grown up.
Okay.
But they certainly know what they have to do.
They know what they're talking about.
I work with some real talented people. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So they know what they have to do. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're like grown up and they act accordingly.
Kind of the culture.
But they know what they have to do. So there's not a lot of like, does that make sense kind of thing? Maybe some of the managers might say that a little bit.
Does that make sense?
Does that make sense?
Does
behind my reasoning?
that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess now that you say it, I have to be a little more cognizant of. Are we getting a phone call?
I think I am getting a phone call. Let's see if we've got him up in the system here, or him or her. Hello. Hey, this is the JB Rev Show. Who's this? Oh, this is it's not coming through. Hold on.
Department number 270.
What is it? Some sort of scam call?
What?
I repeat, 202.
What?
Hang up
This is
on
the
that.
phone call? Hold on.
2565.
Yes. Oh, thank you.
Inform you that IRS is filing lawsuit
Oh,
against
it's a robocall.
Yeah, it's a robocall.
Hey, robocall.
filed.
Hey.
Please call immediately on our
Hello?
department number 202.
Okay.
2565. I repeat, 202.
You do. You repeat. All right. Well, I can't.
I love when they call up and they're like, the police are on their way to come get you.
Yeah, the police are coming.
The police are coming.
Oh, that's a scary one. Why, is the robocall still going?
Why can't you hang up on it?
I want to, but I see. Hello, robocall. Are you still there? Robocall? Got anything else? What happens with these robocalls?
I mean, I don't know. I never let it get that far.
Okay. Well, anyway.
I like when the live people get you, and then they're like, the police are coming to get you. And they're like, but give us your address. I'll be like, but I thought the police were coming to get me. Well, they are. Well, then you should know where I am, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if they're coming to get me, then they already know where I am.
Yeah, there's so much
right?
in the world
I like
where,
to play with them a little bit
if
sometimes.
you just stop and think, right, does that make sense?
Yeah.
You can avoid problems.
Yeah.
Right? Theoretically.
Yeah. Theoretically. I mean, humans typically encounter problems with each other because, of our human nature.
Exactly.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
See, now it's going to be, that's like and I shouldn't even have a trigger word, but trigger words are out there for people. Like, especially with other people, you know what I mean? Like if it's a spouse or something, they know how to push your buttons, and I'm saying that because I saw a friend of mine from a long time ago and we really kind of had a falling out, and I saw him on Sunday.
Oh, really?
And
how was that?
It was interesting, that was like I didn't have any hatred or malice for him just because that's not how I live my life. I'm not thinking, I hope this guy's, being broiled over a Spitfire by demons or what, I mean, I just don't think that way. But it was interesting to see him. But it did make me think a lot about pet peeves and triggers and things like that. And the culture that we have today in America with this current administration propagates that.
Yeah. People get triggered on lots of things.
Yeah.
On both sides. That is the truth. Like on all on all spectrums.
It's a revived defense mechanism.
Sure.
This shit used to not fly.
But here's the thing. Like I have a pretty thick skin, right?
Yeah.
Like and I work in an industry where you have to have a pretty thick skin. for lots of reasons. And, you know, and I could tell dirty jokes and be politically incorrect. Like I certainly can. I mean, I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, probably being politically incorrect.
Well, sure.
But you know, now like I feel like I'm just older, and why? Like my thing is why? Like if I can rise above that, like why do I need to stoop to that level? I feel like as humanity can grow
Right.
together, if we stop acting petty like that, like we have the capacity to, like, just because see, this is where I would be like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because like I like in my head, I it really makes a lot of sense in my head, but like
Yeah.
trying to explain it to somebody else. But
That's a good point too.
We don't have to be PC, sure, and like people can toughen up, sure, but like people should toughen up. But why do we
Let it
also?
go.
Why can't we do both? Why can't
Yeah.
we figure out other ways to toughen up, but also be politically correct and nice to each other,
Well, that-
and not like trigger other people on purpose?
Politically correct keyword. I think that was the last show Bill Maher did, was sometime in November, and this is the exact point he said: is kind of let some stuff go. We're stronger than this petty ass bullshit.
Yes.
And that is a unifying message, which is rare in the world today, right? So I think that's what
But we're so caught up in the minutia of all this pettiness and bickery. And
well, right now,
back and forth.
the good thing is they're processing this. They're trying to handle it in the right way, and
we'll see.
I have no idea, what's going to happen, but I think that we're in for, like a Dallas style soap opera.
I mean, well, we'll see.
Because did JR get shot?
I don't know.
Fact checking. Hold on. I think JR got shot, but he didn't die.
I don't remember. I didn't really watch that show.
You weren't into Dallas?
Not in particularly.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
Like a Miami Vice kind of.
Who shot JR? That was huge.
I remember it. I mean,
who shot JR?
But I wasn't vested enough in it to really care.
Yeah, is an advertising catchphrase that American network CBS created in 1980 to promote their television series Dallas. It referred to the mystery surrounding a murder against villain J.R. Ewing in the show's third and final season, House Divided, the mystery. So this is when they used to go away at the end of the season.
I remember
and you'd
that.
have to wait
have
the
like
whole
a
time.
Cliffhanger.
This was kind of the first.
Yeah, the big one.
The big one back in the 80s.
What do you think of what do you think of that?
People
Like
talked about it all summer.
Now that we could they binge episodes. Which do you like better? Do you remember like anticipating a week?
I do. I do. Yeah, it was.
But life
it
feels
kind of sucked.
Different.
Like you want to see everything like cinematic. So I like to watch it one after another, and that's a good question. I'm not watching the Watchmen. I'm waiting.
Yeah, till the end.
Until it's over.
Yeah.
So I can watch it all the way through.
Yeah, I like that. Like an
8-hour bonanza.
Although, like Game of Thrones, I would watch weekly. Yeah. There were some things like I watched The Walking Dead weekly.
Sopranos was a great one.
And I watched The Walking Dead weekly because I don't want any spoilers.
What that gave you, though, which kind of the binging excludes, is the joining, the bonding of 2 or 3 or more people watching the same show.
Coming together because it was only coming on at
only came on
8
at
o'clock
that time.
on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
Unless you had like a fancy VCR to like tape it.
That's right. You did. Yeah, you could set that VCR.
You could set that VCR.
That was close to rocket science back then for a lot of people.
Yeah, it was.
But now look at us. Yeah, I think as we grow as people, it's probably going to be super important that we're constantly, no matter our age, adapting to technology, learning how
for sure.
Learning how to control it, not let us not be controlled by it.
But the younger generation who's just like growing up with it is just learning so much quicker at such a exponential
well, they're getting it
rate.
younger, yeah. So it's more innate,
Yeah,
but the technology is going to change.
Sure,
right. So the way even you typed on your phone with a BlackBerry, versus how you do it on your phone now with swiping. I mean, it's
are you a swiper?
I am. I'm swiper.
I'm
swiper,
trying,
no swiping.
I'm trying to learn it. Get better at it.
It is kind of hard.
I go back to texting just because I'm just so used to it, and then I'm like, oh, I could swipe, and then I'm like, maybe I'm not as good. Yeah, but I practice sometimes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's weird because it'll put the right word up there for you, and so if you select that, then you can't really move around. You've kind of like, oh, I've got it. Okay, next word.
Yeah,
so it is retraining you how to use it.
Right.
And probably half the people, we've gone from JR to swiping. So That's a huge cross section right there.
I used to like the keypads though, because I could because you only had like 9 little pads, so you could sort of type words without looking at it while you were driving.
Yeah, you knew where they are.
You're like,
yeah, that's right. That was actually
it would take forever. But I think growing up, we were used to a touchpad phone with the letters on it, so you're used to where it was, and like A was 1, B was 2, so you knew the 2 had the ABC on it, right? Yeah. So it was like an easy way to type.
Well, I think you're right too, because it's really still using your brain. And even though when you think about, man, the people that made a lot of money were the ones that could do these calculations just in their head, these massive calculations.
Yeah.
I could never do that.
No, not
I can retain a lot of information, but I can't compute it, And so anyway, but there we go. Now we're off into Geek Tech Talk. All right, we're taking calls. No, we've got a call. We're getting ready to queue up here with Roger Courville. This guy is super interesting. Let me bring up a couple of his sites here, because we don't typically, we're more entertainment centric, whatnot. We're not big talking to. We did talk with someone actually who had a podcast. Of course, I forget what it was now, but it was about faith and questioning, not just accepting stuff. So here he is. All right. So this is forthehope.me. They have thoughtful conversations with an uncertain world. So they do a podcast, from how I understand it, and it's all Bible centric. But he's going to talk to us a little bit about that. And what I think will be interesting, right, with all of this connection, is to get people's impression of what are we defining as, a good man, a holy man, a righteous man? Is it Donald Trump? Is Donald Trump a righteous man? I mean,
the evangelicals will say he's.
I don't see how they can see that, though. I don't know.
I don't either.
Anyway, but that's not why we're here. We didn't come to fight. We came to get down. But let me move over to a track, I guess, real quick, just to take the heat off me. Hold on. Here we go. Check this out. The band is Hush Moss. The track is Clear, and you're listening to the JB Rev Show. Sitting in Jack Demarco. Really appreciate it. Queuing up a call.
Always a pleasure.
With Roger Courville. We'll be right back.
I could feel it at that time, girl. You were slowly tearing me apart. Slowly, ooh. Slowly, don't let go, 'cause it's running me out of me too early, baby, it's so clear to me. Oh, baby, don't let anything lead to me. Oh, baby, don't let anything be real. Oh, baby.
Hey, if you're not having a good time, I'm not having a good time.
Right. That's
So
right.
why the fuck you listening?
There you go. Why are you listening? If you're not having a good time. I'm having a good time. It's the JB Rev Show. The Reverend is out this week. Sitting in for him is Jack Demarco.
Hello
And,
out there, everyone.
He'll be doing some breaking news badly a little bit later. And on the line with us, we do have our scheduled call. Much appreciated for this guy. He's very flexible. I'll tell you the truth. I gave him the wrong date, and then I had to go back and correct it, and then I gave him the wrong time. So this guy is awesome. Welcome to our show, our humble little effort here. It is Roger Courville. How you doing, sir?
So far, so good, and just count me flexible. It's the nature of the beast, right?
There you go. Yes. Well, you gotta be able to do what you need to do, but it was unusual on my part, so I wanted to definitely thank you for that.
Hey, true story. I blew it once, and I've done lots of presenting virtually around the world, and I'm really good, meaning I get really good at time zones, and I blew it one time and had to make a virtual presentation, do a webinar from a hotel room once, back when they would charge you about 73 donkeys and $10 a minute.
Right.
And my phone bill to do one webinar was $600.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
Cost of doing business when you make a mistake.
Yeah.
Hopefully yours was cost you less than $600.
Yeah. Well, I think it did. Yeah. Well, I appreciate your flexibility, your buoyancy in the matter. And nevertheless, though, you are a heck of an interesting guy, man. People can go to rogercourville.com, and that's COUR, and Ville, like a little, a Ville, VILLE, like a little village. But how long have you been? Well, let's start here. Explain to us what you do.
Well, hat tricks, herding cats, and talking to crazy radio guys.
Yeah.
So for literally this year, 2019 was my 20-year anniversary in the webinar industry.
Wow. Congrats.
And that means, that and $4 to get you a latte.
Yeah.
There you go. But, seriously, back then it was, we were happy if people had 56K modems. I went from startup to Microsoft. I left Microsoft with some guys and got a couple $1 million of angel funding and started a company. Started a couple companies, whatever. So, but along the way, one of the things that I started to do was to write books and teach people how to do webinar presentations. But the most frequent question was always, how do I engage an audience that I can't see?
Yeah.
And it really became about human connection more than it became about technology. So there's more to that story, but that's kind of how we got to here.
Where are you based out of, Roger? This is Jack, by the way.
Portland, Oregon.
Right on.
Awesome. So pretty far away from where we're here in Orlando.
Almost as far as you can really be.
You're kind of
if you're
bridging
not
the
counting
gap.
Alaska.
Well, now there's all these applications and softwares and everything, to be able to, go-to meeting, all of these things exist now. And it's exactly like you're saying. You kind of were responsible for kind of bringing some of those bridges, making that happen. That was kind of your passion. People didn't know how to do it. You were quite highly adept at it.
Well, I was fortunate. I grew up kind of wanting to be in radio, actually, and
really?
So I was comfy and I'm a musician, so I was comfy being behind a microphone and not being able to see people. This was long before video was available, and so I ended up with clients around the world. I worked with a sheep farmer in the outback of Australia, and on and on and on. But over the years, seriously, about 5-6 years ago, one of the things that I really started to notice was how people need to connect with people, right? And go back 20 years. We didn't have Facebook. We were, maybe you had a MySpace account or something like that. And it really started to say, how do we have authentic relationship in a world that is extended digitally, right? We can't throw the baby out with the bathwater and go, oh, iPhones are awful. The question is, where and how does that fit in our life? So I really started focusing on this idea that I call connectorship, which evolved from kind of just talking about virtual presentations and webinars to literally a digitally extended life. Because, I use the telephone when I can with my girlfriend, but that doesn't mean that I don't prefer to be there in person. Duh.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You make a great point, because we were even alluding to that earlier, about how you interact with a phone has changed, in that amount of time.
Well, totally. And in our brains, right? I mean, do you remember phone numbers?
How your brain works. Yeah, I used to. I got some. I know my own.
Yeah, that's
a good point, though.
I work for what I do. I actually I have to remember some phone numbers. It just makes life easier. There's a couple of numbers I dial a lot. But yeah, it helps your brain.
What's going on? You're a little windy out there, honestly. What's going on? Can you hear us?
You talking to me?
Yeah, are you on a speakerphone?
No.
Oh,
no.
okay.
But I mean, maybe one of the hamsters on the wheel died or something.
I don't know what's going on.
We'll thank AT&T for that.
Every time you don't talk, it's like it's like a guy getting ready to play football or something. Anyway, all right. Well, I just wanted to point that out. I didn't know if it was something you were controlling on your end. Talking with Roger Courville, man. Again, your history with all of this, you go forward with this connectorship, the virtual presenter, right? And it really was a lot of it, I guess, was kind of before its time. But now what you're saying is there's a certain pocket of businesses that just look at maybe kind of technology or collaboration software applications as taboo or practices. And so you kind of go in there and help them make these connections with their employees, staff, team.
Yeah, and it can touch down in a couple different ways. So, I mean, the medium, it's called the medium theory, a transmission theory of communication, right? The medium it changes how we send and receive signal, and that's kind of a no-brainer when we're on the telephone, or we think I can write a story in a book, or I could write a story in a movie, and I realized that the medium changes how I connect and communicate. I can tell the same story to the same audience, but oftentimes we don't think about that with other aspects of in companies, how we do meetings or how we collaborate or back to that human connection, right? Because, I mean, motivating people and leadership and management is about connecting with people. It's not about which tools you use. Yeah. And that really, really just became something that helping someone take what they already know and then adapt it into whatever media, plural, that they use was a key part of what I grew to end up doing.
So, Roger, let me jump in here. This is Jack again. I'm just curious, so what are some of the things you tell your clients or instruct them to do to make that connection? You know what I mean? Like, let's just say it's a video conference or video meetings. And, so it's like a Skype. That's the medium we're talking right now. Like, what are some of the things you do that maybe that person and the person you're going to has a good connection, good personal connection with the people that he works with directly. So how do you get that person to have that same person come across?
Well, first of all, is remembering that I'll give you two principles that I always start with. One is that sociologically, we always notice what we lose before we notice what we gain.
Wow.
Right. And going from one medium to another medium, the first thing people notice is, oh, it's not the same as being there in person.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you're right. But first is to own it, because when you think through it, you always get to the other side and discover things you can do new or better or different in the new medium.
Right.
But we tend to leave that out because the first thing we notice is, hey, it's not like being there in person. The second thing is, and I'll back up just a little higher view than just video conferencing, but I walk people through a really simple little process of analyze, adapt, discover. Okay. And based on that first principle, it's to think through everything that you would normally do. So you're going to go into the meeting that you're going to use video conferencing for. And let's say that, you would typically print out the quarterly reports that we're all going to talk about before the big presentation next week or whatever that is, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And then poke me in the eye with a fork. But,
it's done. Yeah.
Yes.
I feel you. Okay, so you're trying. Yeah. So you're trying to really bolster and eradicate kind of the apathy. Maybe sometimes at these meetings tend to produce or propagate the.
Well, right. I mean, whether it's presentations or conversations or something like that. Take that handout example. if you normally print them out, well, now what are you going to do? You're online. If you print them out, now you leave out the people that are online and only accommodate the people that are in the actual room itself.
Right.
So now how do we use the digital tools to make that a co-equal collaborative experience? And that's one of 1,000 potential opportunities.
Yeah, it's a fulcrum. It's the whole picture that you're saying. Yeah, that's smart.
So then they're looking
That's smart, yeah.
they're looking at the screen. They're engaging in the screen where the numbers are coming up.
Well, it's almost highly scholastic
And it
to a
keeps
degree,
them-
right? Like you don't want to waste one little minute of time when you're in those meetings.
Do you think efficiency too, when you're not in person, is a key factor, or is that really not?
Yes. Let me give you two examples that kind of illustrate a couple of those. To answer your question, that was Jack, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
I wasn't at Microsoft that long, but Microsoft campus in Redmond, Washington is so big they actually have golf carts that can drive you from one building to another.
Like a big campus,
right? So if you think,
it's huge.
Right. So you don't even have to think about it as in, talking to somebody in Sydney, Australia. It could be just firing up a quick meeting helps you get work done instead of like the 10 minutes it would take you to walk across campus or find somebody with a golf cart to take you there. Right. Here's another example that kind of illustrates that whole process, that 3-part process that I just shared with you. So let's just say you're going to use web and video conferencing to deliver training, right? New employee onboarding or something like that.
Okay.
And you've got 15 people that you're going to train. And if you were in person, you start by going around the room. Hey, tell me your name and where you come from and what's your favorite ice cream or whatever, however you kick that off.
Right.
Well, if 15 people each take 2 minutes to do that, you just killed a half an hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you move that online and do that same kind of exercise, everybody goes types into a chat box, and now that same exercise, I can see what Jack typed, I can see what JW typed, right?
Yep.
And I just got back 27 of my minutes.
Yeah.
And
Smart.
that transforms the thing. So the distinction is that when we do it in person, we have to do it sequentially.
Yeah.
As opposed to when we do it online, we could do it simultaneously. It's not better or worse, not right or wrong.
Right, it's just different.
Could you? But however, what would be interesting too, and you've probably done this before, would be to do it simultaneously in the classroom and post the results up on the wall or something, right?
but that
turn it on its head. Like, here we go. All right, this is the most efficient way to do this. Yeah.
But like, it's not a better or worse thing. Like, you also lose and gain something because there are the people who are like, oh, great, I could just type in whatever. But it takes away some of that
folks,
interpersonal, that real, true interpersonal.
Some folks,
you can only go so far interpersonally over a medium like
in business,
the computer,
but
typing.
Some people are not orally gifted, one could say.
Truth.
They don't have a propensity to use language for their expression. However,
exactly.
They say things like
just
irregardless.
we opened and I'd be interesting, just a quick aside, Roger, just to get your opinion. What do you think of the term, does that make sense?
You're asking me if
what do you think
that makes sense?
of that? Of the term?
We were
does
talking
that
about
make
earlier.
sense?
It's a pet peeve of
It's a pet peeve,
JB's
Mama.
that when people say,
Yeah.
does that make sense?
Yeah.
And we both,
I would love to know where that comes from. I can say, well, as a professional speaker, there have been times when I've paused to make sure that people are picking up when I'm laying down.
There you go. Right.
That was my POV. This is Jack. I said the same thing. He thought it was more of like when somebody like says something, they're like almost condescending. Does that make sense? And I'm like thinking when I say it, I feel like I'm having a hard time getting my point across to someone, and I'm not sure if I am. So then I'm like,
maybe I'm too harsh. Sense? I'm judging people too much. I'm putting too much.
Well, I can.
Yeah, maybe so.
Well, no, actually, why don't I just land on both sides of the camp so I don't have to make any friends or enemies?
Okay,
here.
all right, that's good.
Spoken like a true mediator.
Wow,
Spoken like a true mediator.
That's right. How spineless can Roger be?
As long as I get the Corvette, it's good. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Well, anything that you do too much can drive people nuts.
Right.
Right.
Truth to that.
But I will get, if you say the same thing and have the same phrase come out of your mouth all the time, somebody starts to play, Roger Bingo and go, oh, you said it again.
It would be more condescending.
Now, dude, you got me self-conscious, like thinking, like, do I do that?
Just
do I
to
say things all the time?
Paint a picture. If Mama was like, "Baby, what do you want for dinner?" and the baby was like, "Cereal," does that make sense? Would that tincture is totally condescending, right? I mean, anyway, yeah, but that.
Well, tell you what, let me jump from that to giving you and your listeners a homework assignment that actually may even take something like that and make it a learning moment.
I like it.
Some emotional IQ work, huh?
Have the stage. Yes.
So the most popular TED Talk that, 40 million views or something like that is from a guy named Sir Ken Robinson.
Okay.
Right? And so talking about differences of communication, differences of medium, a TED Talk is like a keynote, right? You're standing up and delivering. You're not interacting with your audience like, say, in a training environment. So he tells a story, and he does this more than once in the span of an 18-minute TED Talk. He tells a story, and he goes, "Am I right?" Now, he's not expecting anybody to actually answer.
Yeah.
But what does he do? In the world of neuro-linguistic programming, two things are attention getters. They call them breaking state, right? One is an interrogative or asking a question, and one is a declarative or making a bold statement in a way that jolts the brain, right? So when he says, "Am I right?" you don't actually have to say yes or no, or "I think you're an idiot." He just engaged your brain, and it's just brilliant. So go watch Sir Ken Robinson again, and you'll just see a brilliant technique of somebody who's doing something mentally engaging.
That is a remarkable story. Talking with Roger Courville, and have you yourself? What are some of the biggest audiences that you've been involved with? And I ask that just out of curiosity, because you have a real razor sharp intellect, I believe. So I like to see if that goes better out in small doses, or does it go to bigger doses?
I bet I can answer that for you, Roger.
Go for it. Go for it. Read my mind.
I bet you were going to say something like, "It works in all doses."
Okay.
I just really need to find the audience that I'm talking
Jack,
to.
All right, Jack.
Am I wrong?
Let him answer.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, although I kind of did.
I'm the unflusterable presenter, and you can throw anything at me, and I'm going to get the ball right back on your side of the court.
Oh, please.
So, biggest audience in person, about 1,500 people. Biggest audience online, multiple times over 2,000.
Yeah. Nice.
But in the dynamic changes, right? I mean, obviously, you can't interact with 1,500 people in the same way you do with 15.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you can't connect, and that's my big hot word, right? I mean, that doesn't mean you can't connect and or do things that turn that from a passive experience to an active experience, which increases the endorphins and dopamine and people learning and remembering.
Did you ever get nervous? And do you still get nervous?
No, I'm kind of a freak.
Yeah, you don't get nervous at all in front of people?
Good.
Well, you know why?
Even being a bad guitar player, you don't get nervous in front of people?
I suck as a guitar player. I do get nervous when I play guitar.
No.
I understand that. I play guitar. I get nervous too. But I saw your
why people.
I only say that for those who are listening, by the way. Like, I'm not insulting the man who I just met this evening. His Twitter account says, "Good dad, bad guitar player, loves habaneros."
Habaneros, yeah.
Nice.
All right, that might be just a birthing segue then. Let's with the time we have left with you, sir, let's kind of segue to forthehope.me, that endeavor, and let's talk a little first about food and music, though. Okay, so how long you been playing guitar?
40 years.
How old are you now, if I might ask?
39.
Okay.
Perfect answer. Gets a square.
Yeah,
circle gets the
14,
square.
I was 14, so yeah, I just turned 54.
Wow, the math works out. Oh, wow, yeah. Well, there you go. Okay, so what kind of music
is that? A recent picture in your website?
Yeah,
it is.
You look good for 54.
The man's 50. Yep, come on.
You look good for 54. I thought you were 40. Around my age.
Well, Photoshop does wonders, doesn't it? Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, I remember I got carded into my 40s, And so the
Wow.
story
Yeah.
is, I
did
remember
too.
as a kid going, okay, one day I'm going to appreciate this. One day I'm going to appreciate this.
Right.
I only the past like a year and a half have I stopped being carded, and I've just turned 46.
Yeah, Jack does kind of have a youthful look about
Yeah.
him, and so do you,
Like
Roger,
well
I
into
guess.
my early 40s, I was getting carded.
Anyway, all right. We're getting off track, I think. Hold on. So we're all right. So the music, right? The music. I think that's super important. So I'm interested in. Do you rock it out? You know, what kind of stuff speaks to you as far as music with the guitar that you like to play?
Oh, I'm freakishly eclectic. So I grew up on singer-songwriter stuff, you know,
Okay.
Beatles, James Taylor, Jim Croce,
Right.
you know, kind of stuff where song form, and I'm still a songwriter, and, you know, mostly that's just me being a legend in my own mind in my bedroom.
Yeah.
But the
well,
Story of my life,
by the
friend.
time
Story of my life.
by the time I was, you know, playing in rock bands, it was all prog rock, you know, Genesis,
Right.
Beatles, or Pink Floyd kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
it was all original, which means you were usually
Yeah.
playing for free beer to three people.
Right.
And so I played keyboards in bands. So I mean,
Awesome.
I play keyboard and guitar both equally,
Okay.
which sounds like I can play, but it means I can only really play my own stuff, and I'm functional, but
Yeah.
I'm virtuoso at neither.
Well, you should send. What is your stuff out there anywhere? Can people hear
No.
it, or is it? No, it's not. Oh,
No.
Wow. It'd be interesting. So that's pretty cool. So then let's, you know, we can move into the For the Hope now. But wait, habaneros. Okay, so explain the fascination there then.
Oh, I just love spicy foods, and I just
are your
love
favorite?
habaneros. That's my favorite pepper.
Yeah.
So they're blazing hot, and
You know,
they're
that's a
tasty.
good. What's your favorite pepper?
I am a habanero fan, but I just the older I've gotten, I eat less and less.
I like red
spicy.
pepper, just like the
It just-
fruity
my stomach
red
doesn't
pepper.
like it.
I love that. Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's not spicy, but I use that in hot sauce. We have Poca's Hottest. She makes great hot sauce.
I used to make my own hot sauce.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. You ever make your own hot sauce over there, Roger?
Salsa, yes. Hot
Salsa,
sauce, probably in
yeah.
the definition, no. But
All right.
yeah, love that stuff.
Fair enough. All right. So we got food, music. Maybe it's good for the last 10 minutes. We could maybe talk about the faith, right? This is if people go to forthehope.me, you'll see it's very highly driven with spirituality. And, you know, we each believe our own things over here. And this site, you know, definitely kind of says, hey, come learn, connect, create the culture with us. Tell us a little about For the Hope. And is it also a kind of a radio podcast as well?
Oh, it is a podcast.
Yeah.
So I'll even give you the transition story, because actually, believe it or not, here's how it all connects. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm unabashedly Christian, and
Yeah.
so I've got this
Okay.
daily Bible reading podcast where I teach people. You know, I read the Bible and teach people about stuff.
That's awesome.
But seriously, I was speaking at a conference in Atlanta. This is, I don't know, 5 years ago or something. And the most frequent question in the world of virtual events and virtual presentations, like we were talking about, is how do I engage an audience that I can't see?
Mm-hmm.
And I've literally answered more than 20,000 questions in webinars, which doesn't mean anything other than I know what the frequently asked questions are.
Right.
So I get this question while I'm in an in-person audience. I have probably 150 people in the room, and I say, and for some reason, I answered it differently this time. I stopped
Okay.
and I said, you know what the secret is? Now, when you're speaking from stage, there's a couple ways that you can draw the audience in, right? You pause,
Mhm.
you can lower your voice, you can repeat something,
That's
you know, and so I'm like, you want to know the secret? And everybody leans forward, and I say, you love them. And you
What?
could have heard
You
a pin
what?
drop. And
Say
then,
it again.
And then I said, you love them. How do you engage an audience that you can't see?
You love
My
them.
answer was, you love them. And there's one of the big problems in the world of people moving into some form of media communications that is talking at
Mhm.
instead of talking with.
Yeah.
And that's why I like that Sir Ken Robinson video, because he's talking with the audience even though they're not verbally responding.
Yeah. It's like
you know,
a
mentally.
collective person. He's joining them all together to a degree, right? Which is unity.
So, you know, as a guy who's a Christian, one of the things that, you know, I'm just I'm one classroom done with a master's degree in this subdivision of theology called apologetics, which is how to answer questions about the faith from a rational perspective. So if somebody says, I don't trust the Bible as authoritative, let's talk about the beginning of the world or whatever. You might draw on other disciplines like history or philosophy or, logic, et cetera, that, in terms of saying, well, great. It's a rational faith that's got historical basis. Let's talk about it. So that's kind of the basis from which I read the Bible to people and talk about stuff on my podcast. I do it every single day. January 8th will be my 1,000th episode.
What? That is remarkable. Congratulations, man.
Well, every day for 2.5 years, and that's how you get there, yeah.
Talking Roger Courville.
And if you order before midnight, you'll get the Ginsu knives. Absolutely free.
Yeah, get the Ginsu knives. Totally free. That's hilarious.
Jack through a Volkswagen and still peel a tomato.
Jack's got his hand up, actually, old school classroom style. Go ahead, Jack.
I'm just curious, Roger, to get your take on the current state.
I believe he's sincere, right?
No, I believe you're totally sincere.
He's an honest guy.
I'm looking for his honest answer. Like, I just feel like we're at a very amoral point with a lot of people claiming to be
the people running
of
shit.
Faith, people running this country.
Okay.
Yep.
Listen, on both sides, I don't think you can generically say both sides are the same, but both sides claim to be very religious, but are doing things that are just not very religious.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not very religious. I will let him talk. I'm not very religious, but I do have a very strict moral upbringing. I grew up Catholic, so I do have a very strong ethic and moral background. But I consider myself spiritual. But I consider myself do the right thing. You know what I mean? Like simple rules. Treat people how you want to treat them. I'm sorry.
So his take then, I think what Jack's trying to say is what is your take on the current administration and all of this opposite stuff of what we believe Jesus is about? That's what I'm curious about. Your take on all this.
Jesus wouldn't lock people in cages.
Well, okay, but let him answer.
Well, you know what? So I'm a registered independent. So there you go. And I didn't vote for the guy, but I didn't vote for the other person either.
Right.
So, but here's how to me how this touches down with faith. I mean, with regard to to your question, Jack, you can't judge a philosophy by those who fail at it. So
wow.
One way or another, watching someone, they could
sure.
They can say they're a Christian and they can quote you the Bible, but if of what somebody believes by what they do,
right?
So, at the end of the day, here's the foundational thing that to me twists my brain. Go ahead.
I'm curious: how would you communicate to other people how that isn't Christian, like that what they're saying they're doing Christianity, but they're not. How do you present that argument to people?
Usually, I take it out of the conversation of talking about an individual person and say, let's talk about ideas, right? Okay. Should we put children in cages or whatever? But even more than that, for me, I come back to something that's pretty foundational, which is that if Jesus rose from the dead, Christianity is true. And everybody's got a point, something to reckon with, because the God of the universe has spoken, and the question is, who gets to be God?
I mean, that's Jesus really
wow.
Never looked at it like that, for sure. If Jesus rose again, lots of things would be answered.
Right. And if Jesus didn't rise from the dead, then as Paul writes in 1 Corinthians 15, we're all idiots. Now, that's the Roger paraphrase version, but you know what I mean.
Right.
All right.
because Jesus doesn't live in any room, any wiggle room for saying, oh, I'm just a good moral teacher. I mean, he said he's God. So he says, C.S. Lewis puts it, he's either a liar of the most deluded magnitude, or a lunatic and completely out of his head, or he's actually like Lord of the universe, right? I mean, it's kind of...
He is...
Wait, I'm sorry, who said that? Because that's a lot of things...
Lewis.
Okay. I didn't know that.
C.S. Lewis. Yeah, Google C.S. Lewis trilemma.
Okay.
It's like a dilemma, trilemma.
Yeah, that's interesting. I will certainly look at that.
Wow. Well, it's been a fascinating, great conversation with you,
and
sir.
a real pleasure.
I will say we encourage people, go check this guy out. It's rogercourville.com. That's the website. The other site for the podcast is forthehope.me. And you can go to those sites and connect with Roger because you man. And again, you're welcome to come back anytime. You know, we'll keep in touch with you in the new year, perhaps, because I like you have a soothing. You've helped me just through conversations, which I feel is a truly healing activity. And the current climate disallows us it does not encourage this type of back and forth. So
yeah, you know what?
we need to get back to that. Yeah,
it wasn't that long ago. Sometime in the last year or two, there was an editorial in the New York Times, and the title said it all: "I'm okay, you're pure evil."
Oh my gosh,
that's the problem.
Right.
And he went on to talk about the divided nature, and like, you know what?
I read that article.
You're a human being. Did you? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, we got a problem, and it doesn't have to be that way. And sadly, politicians are doing what politicians are doing.
Right. Well, all politics aside and everything else aside, again, you're a great guy. Really appreciate your time, and keep practicing the guitar. I feel like there's still, I feel like there's something there, maybe Mexican food related, but nevertheless, it will be good. You know, anything you anything you constantly pursue like that, and that's what I say. You know, no matter of religion,
I bet he's a much better musician than he's letting on.
Be
by the
hungry.
way.
No, we'll always kind of be hungry. You know, to feed the spirit, and this is our hashtag High Spirits edition. So you should always really be curious and loving, not fear and loathing, but curious and loving. Anyway, Roger Courville, any closing quick mentions or anything? Wait,
no, it's
rogercourville.com and forthehope.me. Those are right?
Yep. At rogercourville.com will get you everywhere else. And, give a shout. If I can answer a question, give me a shout.
Perfect. So I'll tell you what, hang on the line there with me, buddy. I'm going to run into a track. Hold on. I think I had it. I thought I had it. Ready? Where is it?
Uh-oh.
Okay. Where'd it go? Uh-oh. Hold on, Roger. All right.
I could always talk.
What do you got to say?
I have many, many things to say.
Okay.
I mean,
you're going to...
where would I even begin?
Two radio DJs, a lawyer, and a priest walked into a bar.
Yeah.
I mean,
here it is.
I could just...
This is by the Tune Yards. Look at your hands. It is the JB Rev Show. We'll be back with a big chat with Big Ron Betts.
Yeah.
Dig it.
That man can play. You still
wait, don't dig it. Don't dig it yet. Hold on. I'm on the wrong supply.
Are we still talking?
Yeah, we are still talking over here. Hold on. Roger, hold on. All right, this is radio hijinks at its finest. Hold on. There we go. There we go. All right, there you go.
What just happened?
My bad. There you go. It is the JB Rev Show. Thank you, Roger. Hang on the line.
Your hands, love. La la, look at got the shadow to follow the flow. You got that thing to go. La la locked and loaded and ready to go. You got lots of things to go. You got the shadow to follow the flow. You got that thing to go. La la locked and loaded and ready to go. Got. The shadow to follow the flow. You got that thing to go. La la locked and loaded and ready to go. You got lots of things to go. Harmony, harmony, vibration, voices are free. Harmony,
WJBW, Orlando, Florida. The first quasi-radio web show.
Wow. Yeah. Man, what a heady session. This is our hashtag high spirits edition. We got Jack Demarco riding shotgun like a mofo on this session.
That took a lot of brain power. That Roger Courville
was a smart
really
guy, super,
great interview.
Yeah,
really fun.
Yeah, that was a great session with him.
Self-deprecating.
Well,
he had a lot going on.
We wanted to go across and say, hey, this guy believes in Jesus, but we're going to talk to him. Right, like, but
he does so much more.
But
like
that's
he
what
really,
I'm saying. But screw you, though.
I like his message connecting people.
I don't want to say screw you. Anyway, I'm a little salty. Anyway,
this
is our hashtag. No, not to you. Season Apocalypse, and this is our hashtag High Spirits edition. And on this session, man, we got a local legend session with a guy who really deserves it, man. We'll find out a little bit more about him. I don't know if he was born here or came down here or whatever it was, but I believe we have him on the line. Is Mr. Ron Betts. Ron Betts? Paging Ron Betts.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Yes,
Big Ron.
You rock. Hey, brother, man. How you doing, sir?
Yes.
Good to talk with you.
Fantastic. I'm sitting in Casa del Bet with with some high spirits in a glass.
Oh, good for
it
you.
Was very festive.
Very good. Are you on speakerphone?
I am not.
Oh, okay.
Hang on. Is that better?
Sounds a little echoey.
Yeah, it just sounds a little echoey. That's all.
Stand by. Let me make some adjustments.
Yeah, it sounds like you're in. It sounds like you're because you're a big guy and your voice sounds very small. So that's all I'm concerned about.
Oh,
there it is.
Is that better?
Right. That's a little better.
Okay.
I mean, I just want this to be proportionately correct to the world. I want it to be to scale. I want my work to be to scale, right? What we do here, we don't make money. We don't try to sell you hot sauce. Oh, actually we do. Yeah. BIPOC is hot as hot sauce. That's what I say. Anyway, but, you rock, my man. I appreciate the fact you're able to give us a little bit of time.
You before we learn more about you, I'll just go out and say you recently rocked on Sunday at closing the outside stage at the Tom Petty at Maxine's, dude. It was great.
That was a great time. That was so much fun. I just really enjoyed getting to see a lot of musicians I haven't seen in a long time. And then hearing some people I've never heard before and just really hanging out with everybody. Big thanks to Maxine and Kirk and Frankie and everybody for putting that together.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was such an outpouring of
support,
of musical love there.
And they did the Lennon one last year around the same time. So you know, this was just another great event, and I worked till about 4:00 on Sunday, so I got home, got there about right around 5:00. So I saw one guy just out the outside stage closing up, and then Sonar came on. Who those guys were great.
Yeah.
And then you closed the night, and you know, you were awesome, dude. Seemed like you had a little mic trouble in the beginning there.
Yeah, we were having some technical difficulties, but we got it sorted.
It got sorted, and then you guys, you know, closed out the night. A really great night. A lot of coats were donated. A lot of fun was had by all.
So appreciate that. That event, my voice is almost going, if you could hear it now. That event was great. But what again I love about you, man, is you are persistently in some of the coolest little places where you have a captive audience and it's very personal. And so with a local legend, hold on, let's do that. Local legend Ron Betts, Big Ron Betts, you may know him by. He is not only a one-man dynamic entertaining machine, he also, I believe, hails from Orlando. We're going to learn a little bit more about him on this session. I think he's got more personality-driven stuff for him down the line here. But, Ron, thank you so much. That's our fanfare we do. We appreciate you. It is local legend, our humble little title.
Are you from Orlando?
Yeah,
I mean, he keeps pushing that agenda right there.
Yeah, well, I want to learn.
So, are you from Orlando?
We love to learn about people. So peel us back. How did it all begin for you with music? Where do you? Yeah, there you go. Are you from Orlando?
So yeah, we'll start with that first. I was born and raised here in Orlando. So I spent the majority of my life here.
True local legend.
I've been playing music professionally anyway in Orlando for about 26 years or so, with different bands and then solo and now I'm where I'm at now thanks to a lot of incredible people that have helped me along the way.
Yeah.
I've had the pleasure of playing with some incredible musicians. I've had some great mentors that have kind of, you know, give me a kick in the butt when I needed it, and you know, give me a pat on the back when I needed that too. So, but yes, growing up here in Orlando, I've seen the music scene here change and morph and move around, and I got a chance to see some great people on Sunday that I just had not seen in years, like Wendy Benson, who she was actually there in the beginning of my musical career. She used to host an open mic night. Yeah. And one of the first times that Dave Mann and I went out to, you know, put ourselves out there, she was hosting the jam night. So she's known us for quite a long time.
Wow.
Amazing.
So in saying that,
it was great to see her.
You've played a lot of places. You play out a lot. You know, when it comes to your own musical style, do you identify kind of with the blues vibe? What's your own musical preference? You know, because you play a lot of different stuff.
I look at music as a language, and my primary language, my first language is blues. That's what I grew up on. That's where I feel the most comfortable. Right. But I can also speak other languages. I've taken the time to learn how to play other styles of music, but whatever I play, it's going to sound, you're going to be able to hear the bluesy, bluesy tones of it. Kind of like earthy. With a fine wine, you can taste the oaky. Yeah, that's it, the earthy aftertaste or whatever. So blues is my exactly. Blues is my home. That's where I live and breathe, and that's what I listen to a lot, and that's what I play a lot. But I like a lot of other styles of music, and I like how they all kind of blend together, you know?
But do you have anybody ever ask you to play Taylor Swift, I wonder? You ever get
surprisingly
creative?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Britney Spears, Taylor Swift, I get requests for that, yeah.
Okay,
do you play
awesome.
them?
Yeah.
I don't play either of those, no.
What do you do?
I do play Amy
instead?
Winehouse.
That's a good.
You know, Amy Winehouse is pretty bluesy. Yeah. She's got some pretty solid blues bass, right?
Yeah. That's where I try to take people to. You know, where I'm more comfortable.
Yeah, I mean,
take them to school. Yeah, like, hope you brought a lunch.
Or, you could find
You are in
I bet
school
there's some
now.
Britney songs that you could, like, really
Yeah,
find
I would love to see him.
bluesify them.
That's a
Bluesify
great,
them.
Yeah, bluesify. That's a great idea.
Absolutely.
That's a
You can do
homework
it.
assignment for you.
Yeah,
Roger
that's
gave
a lot
me
of what I do.
Yeah.
Roger gave us a homework assignment where we're like, what the heck? No, now we're going to give you a homework assignment. Yeah, find a pop song and make it bluesy. All right, well, we'll love to hear it. Where you play all around Orlando here, man. I've seen, when you kind of Google Ron Betts, when you're just like,
Google that right now.
yeah, when you're Googling it and you
Google that right now.
Yes, and you Google it and and you see, dude, the past 20 years, almost 10, 20 years, I can see stuff where you've been at. Where you play, you play so many places, man. You are definitely an Orlando local legend. You must have some incredible stories, like from just the whole different awkward atmosphere of a dining establishment to more of a nightclub type of thing. I mean,
What are you talking about, Church Street?
I'm talking about him. Yeah, he's been all over the place. How many places in Orlando have you played? I think it's probably almost 1,000.
Oh my God.
Right? I mean, if you include
probably in that neighborhood.
if you include
There's been a lot
like,
of places that
3 counties, right? Like Osceola, Orange, Seminole.
I'm sure he's been
and
Brevard,
maybe even
Volusia.
Volusia and
Even farther than that,
If you include all that, it's got to be
you can
1,000
go out
different
to
Oh yeah,
places
all across
you
Florida.
can go
right?
out to the coast and both coasts and up north and down south. I've been all over. I'll go pretty much anywhere people want to hear music and they're willing to give me alcohol. So
There you go.
I'm pretty easy when it comes to that.
All right. Well, all right. I'll set a sip of whiskey in your honor there. Do you have anything? All right, we'll do a little toast.
I do. I have some whiskey right
What do
here.
you have? All right, so what do you have, Jack?
Little-
We all have whiskey.
we all have whiskey.
Cheers,
All right,
everybody.
well, cheers. All right, cheers. We'll do
Cha-ching.
the clink. There you go. That's for all 3 of us.
Do you know where Cheers came from? Do
Tasty.
you know where Cheers came from? A little bit of
Oh, I don't know. Is it
Random
satanic
knowledge?
now that we
No,
just
it's
had?
not.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm like, come on. What-
So, like,
okay.
people would cheers back in, like, olden times because they would have, they would all splash their liquid. They would cheers real hard and all their liquid would splash into the other glasses.
My liquid is
they wouldn't
splashing on you.
So they wouldn't poison each other. Like, all, like, the rival,
Oh, okay.
would, like, smash their glasses
gotcha.
together. Cheers and smash their
Cheers
glasses
that
together.
you're not going to try to
And
poison
then
me.
Yeah, because then their glasses would all mix with the liquid of beer or whatever.
Thanks for not killing me. I
I don't
appreciate
know what
it.
that was like crazy aside.
I was just crazy
That was a
random.
little. All right, thank you
Sometimes
for
I'm
the-
random. I don't know what to say.
I don't know. That
I
was
would
like
expect nothing less.
historical
Sometimes I'm random.
color commentary.
But that was knowledge that
on-
someday you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to tell this story.
okay, but that's
And people-
these are all people in the past.
but
Yeah,
How
things
is
have
he back
origins,
there?
I do
man.
cheers.
Things have origins.
All right, let's talk with Ron. Hold on. You're trying to make him.
Sorry, Ron.
Ron, he's trying to make you into a comic book character. All of a sudden, you are like a
Ron's
superhero.
origin
no.
story.
You're a big Ron Betts.
Big Ron Betts.
I'm
We
kind
should
of a
make song.
superhero, I guess.
Big Ron Betts. Yeah, you are like a superhero, dude.
What would be your nemesis, Big Ron, the superhero? Who would be your nemesis?
It'd be like
People
Little
talking.
Joe Smith or something like that.
Lady talk
do-
a lot while
there's-
she eat.
Do you have a nemesis
there
in real
was
life?
a
Miss Chatterbox.
not a nemesis, but there are certain people that have really gotten under my skin. I played a show a few years back. It was I was playing by myself. It was just a quiet restaurant, and this guy brought an iPhone in with him with a little speaker and turned it on to listen to a hockey game that happened to be going on. And he turned it up
Okay.
loud enough where I could hear it on the stage.
Okay.
And people around him could hear it, but I'm still trying to play my song. So
Right.
that was very annoying.
How did you handle that?
Yeah.
I'm curious.
I turned up. I was louder than him.
You just turned. Yeah, you've got more.
Sorry.
You got a little more juice.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I've got
I'm a superhero.
I've got 1,000 watts. You've got 4. So
Yeah.
here we go.
He's got a Bluetooth.
He ended up leaving after a couple of minutes.
Aw.
Yeah, he left after a couple of minutes.
Well, Yeah, but
I know I was brokenhearted.
You gotta have, well, you gotta have confidence what you do. And a lot of the times, like you're saying, you're in a lot of different environments, and that's what I found fascinating too. Mm-hmm. You've probably been in so many different environments. What are some of your favorites? Have there been some crazy times in these environments?
I'm
little
sure
kid
some crazy
just
times.
goes over and takes a dump on the floor or something. I mean, I don't even know.
That's
what could
more
happen.
gross than crazy.
No,
but
I don't know. I'm just trying to open up the floodgates for whatever this man wants to give us.
I had we played a band that I was in previously. We played a show over in Cocoa, and there was a lady there who was wearing multiple layers of clothing and taking off the clothing as we played.
Okay.
So we were kind of concerned that if we played too long, we were going to get to see the full Monty.
Wow.
And she did get down to her panties. Before they asked her to leave.
Yes. Oh, did Patrick Swayze take her out?
Yeah, it could have been.
Really?
It was
That's your
pretty a pretty impressive individual.
It feels, but
hey, nothing wrong with Patrick Swayze.
Roadhouse was a great movie.
No, but what my point was,
I just expected somebody bigger.
What my point is I did watch Roadhouse this weekend. It was awesome on a
Such
Saturday.
A good movie.
I was like, dude, this is a good movie. But what it made me think about is bars were different back then. Not necessarily like that Double Deuce bar was all crazy, but bars were different. Like when I would go to Daytona and stuff, if you didn't look the right way, it was almost
We're talking like late 80s, early 90s?
Well, yeah, this is like mid 90s. Yeah.
Mid-90s.
Anyway, I don't know. It was pretty rough and tumble where I came up, kind of in Daytona. But anyway, point of all that is to say, when you play around, you become highly adaptable. And that's what I love about you, man, is you are persistent, adaptable, and talented, and those things don't often go all together in the world. So kudos to you, man. We want to throw love and support. People Google Big Ron Betts.
Google that right now.
Big Ron Betts.
Get up on it.
Yeah, get up on it. There you go. Don't Google that. Hold on.
What part of Orlando you grew up in?
Yeah, so give us a little flavor around kind of how you came up. How'd you first start? Do we talk a whole lot about how you started playing music?
I've been performing in some form or fashion since I was 4 years old. I did like a kindergarten or pre-K talent show, something. Okay. I've always loved being on stage, but I started actually kind of doing it for real back in the late 80s, and now I've kind of met with some people in the early 90s and jumped into a band called Pitch Blue Jam.
Okay.
With Dave Mann, who you guys are real familiar with.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dave and I've been playing together for years. Everything from just little individual one night stands to we played Universal's Mardi Gras when they first started doing that.
Oh wow, yeah.
You play with Justin too, right? These days.
Yes.
Yeah.
I played with Justin the other day. That's right.
Yeah.
Over in New Smyrna.
Justin's a friend.
Oh, he's good. Oh, he's amazing. And the hair alone. Oh my God.
Yeah, and Johnny Diggs too, right?
That's the funny thing I noticed about him. Every woman that saw him went up and started touching his hair. And I gotta say, I got a little jealous.
Johnny Diggs?
Johnny Diggs. I don't
piano
think so.
player plays around town.
Lounge Diggers. Yeah, out of the Red Fox Lounge.
Oh yes.
Yeah. I play guitar with him.
Yeah,
we play like little indies. We play Maxine's. We played Maxine's the past two New Year's Eves. We're not playing this year.
Nice.
John's got some stuff going on, so we're not playing this year. But we play there at Maxine's the last 2 years. I love them.
You know Jack though too, right?
I mean, we probably met.
Well, listen to this, Ron.
Oh,
I'll throw it out there, man. If you want to do an impromptu show up over here next week on Tuesday night, just for half an hour, we're going to be doing what is called a War on Christmas.
Oh, I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be in New York.
We've got a special announcement.
But you should do it.
I'm hashing out all the details, but anyway, I'll just kind of plant that seed out there. Next Tuesday night, we're doing War on Christmas. We got the Yells.
Come by and play some
We
Christmas
got
songs.
J&J, a couple of rockers coming in here, and it'd be great to have Ron Betts in here as well doing something. So anyway, well, we'll just throw that out there into the universe.
Details, man.
If you can make that, all right, if you can make that happen, we'll do it. But you rock, my man.
Shoot me the details. If I can get there, I will.
All right. Fair enough.
So what you got next coming up, Ron?
So next show is with the trio. It's going to be myself, Pat Coombs on bass, and Parton Whitaker on the drums. We're going to be at the Ocean Deck, the world famous Ocean Deck in Daytona Beach.
I love it.
On the 22nd of December. That's an 8:30 show. It's going to be amazing. We got some Christmas tunes we're going to throw in there. We got some new stuff we've just been working on. We'll probably play a couple of songs from the Tom Petty show that we just did.
Right.
Nice.
It's going to be a great time.
What, talking about the Tom,
What's your favorite Tom Petty song?
Petty stuff. Yeah. What was some of the stuff that you loved to, you were like, wow, I can do this, or I got this song. Was there a particular one? I've been
doing Free Falling for a long time. I've had that in my solo show for a long time, and the band,
right. That's
the
what
band does it also. That's one of my favorite Tom Petty songs. But I rediscovered, while we were getting ready for this, Into the Great Wide Open, which I liked it when it first came out.
That's what he opened with.
And then
his
in
opener and
practicing, I was
closer.
like, wow, I really do like this song.
Dude,
yeah,
you did it. You
I
killed
just
it.
really like the song.
That's when you were having the mic problems.
Thank you.
It was unfortunate, but but you killed it. I loved the vibe of Into the Great Wide Open. I really did. And the show, I don't remember all the songs in between, but I do know that was Into the Great Wide Open was your opener, and you closed with Free Fall. And by the time you got to Free Fall, and you had the crowd, and what a great song to just suck the crowd into, to get involved, and just build that energy for the final number,
Well, I think there's a lot
That's the whole purpose of what we do.
Yeah, and there's a lot of
If you're having
value
fun, everyone else is.
in that group.
Exactly.
Participatory, everybody's singing, everybody's on the same vibe. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing about music, when it brings people together like that, because they're all just jamming on the same song.
Everybody from those little kids that were dancing around in the front to, the folks in the back, everybody was having such a great time. And then when they all started singing along, that was, that was the best high going.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
What was your, in your, if you can think back to that moment in your musical career that where the vibe and everything, where you were on stage and you just had that moment where this has come together and everyone is just boom.
Oh, wow. That's a great question.
Ultimate moment.
I'd have to say it was playing at the Beecham years back, the old Beecham Theater there.
Mm-hmm.
We were the band I was in was opening for Tower Power, and there was just a moment where everything clicked, and the audience was the crowd was into it, and I could see out of the corner of my eyes, some of the guys from Tower Power were standing there watching us.
Yeah.
And they were grooving, and I was like, "Oh my god,
yeah!"
This is it.
Great feeling.
This is it. This is the moment.
Nice.
That's a good a good question, Jack. I mean, because because you really have to get inside of the mind of the performer, because it does, give you a high.
Yeah, you're totally high, but if you get too high, you don't want to lose the audience, get caught up in yourself.
Right.
So there's so many.
Oh, I'm over here now. I'm in the McDonald's playground, just playing around. Nobody's over there. Nobody's giving me French fries in 20 minutes, man. Anyway, all right, we're talking with Ron Betts, Big Ron Betts. You are a badass, my man. I freaking love, like I said, all of the
chatting with you, man.
You are talented. You are, persistent. So what's, when people can connect with you, is there a better site, or what do you want to throw an email address out there? Is there, what is the best way
Twitter,
people want to book you?
Instagram.
And what kind of place do you want to play that you have not played yet? So a two-prong.
We threw a lot at him right there.
That's a two-prong question right there. Just two prongs.
So the easiest way to get a hold of me right now is through Facebook, because I monitor that more than everything else. But I'm also on Twitter, Instagram. My website is being finished up now. It should be ready in hopefully another few days or so.
What's it going to be called?
Material out there on that.
RonBets.com?
It's Big Ron Bets.
Big Ron Bets.
Big Ron Bets.
Big Ron Bets.
Yep, I'm working on that now, so hopefully we'll see that in the next week or so. .com,
cool.
yep.
Very cool. Big Ron
and
Bets.
then basically, when it comes to places I want to play, there are lots of venues in town that are just amazing that I'd love, like Boxy over in Lake Nona there.
Okay.
Looks like an amazing area. I've seen some great bands come through there. But you know what? I'm anywhere that people want to hear music. That's where I want to be.
And what kind of music do you offer? I know sometimes when you go even do anything, reggae. Your cross music genre skill is pretty damn tight. So what kind of vibe if people are listening? Like, hey, what kind of vibe would you say? Hey, I'll bring this sound vibe to your place.
So it's going to be a bluesy vibe, but it's not like My Woman Left Me blues the whole night, which is what people think when you think of blues. It's going to have some classic rock. It's going to be, there's going to be some reggae. There's going to be some country, a little bit, not a whole lot, but a little bit of country. There's going to be some pop. There's going to be some top 40 stuff.
Okay. So you kind of...
Yeah, oh, no. There's nothing wrong with country. It's just not my forte.
Yes.
Big Ron, superhero power, make people have fun.
There you go. Thank you, Jack.
That is it exactly.
You tied it in. Yeah, you're the fun elixir of fun.
What do you do? I make people have fun.
I make people have fun when they're
people
out.
ask you at a party, what do you do? You're like, I make people have fun.
Fun maker.
What the fuck else would I do?
I'm Big Ron Bets, fun maker. What's going on?
If you want people to drink whiskey,
Yeah.
Hey, I want to take a moment and thank you guys for your support of the local music scene and the local art scene. It's amazing what you do. You and like Maxine and all these other people around town, Frankie and all those people, without you guys, the music scene would suck.
Wow.
It would suck ass. Wow. And it doesn't because of people like you.
Wow.
So I really appreciate it.
Lots of people in this town.
Can you call yourself a local legend?
I think
he calls himself a local legend all the time. Who are you kidding?
Actually, the Reverend dubbed me.
Wait. I'm not talking about in the bedroom. I just mean for the music scene.
Yeah, just in a small part of my bathroom, I'm a local legend.
Ew.
Anyway, that's weird. It just got really weird in here.
I feel uncomfortable, Ron. I need help. I'm in an uncomfortable position right now.
A white elephant. What is happening? Oh my goodness! Ghost of Jim Morrison is here. Ghost of Jim Morrison. White elephant. These are the future. we are the past and the future.
I feel triggered.
Anyway, you feel triggered?
I feel triggered.
Does that make sense?
Do you need help?
Anyway, hey, Ron,
do you need counseling?
We're asking all of our guests, when someone says to you, I guess it would always depend on who it is, right? But one of my kind of pet peeves is when someone asks me if something makes sense and they go, does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay, yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I disagree, Ron, because whenever I say it, when he brought it up, I was like, but I say it, but when I gave it more thought, when I say it to people when I feel like I'm not explaining myself, like what's in my head is one thing, but like what's coming out of my mouth is not that thing.
So it's from a humble.
So when I say it from someone, I'm like, does that make sense?
What do you think? And again, we know it's always really situational, but what's your instant reaction to if someone asks you, does that make sense?
It makes me wonder if I think they're speaking in a different language,
right?
Than what I'm listening to.
See,
if you're speaking English, we can pretty much figure it out.
Like I got it the first time, bro.
Interesting.
Ma'am. Yeah, see? I mean, it is interesting. Like, are you paying attention?
I never thought of it like that. I always felt
attention. Are you? Yeah.
I always felt like, am I not smart?
I don't know. It's a thing. It's a thing. People will be debating it in a couple weeks.
Hey, we all have our things.
Claiming it is their own original idea. We know how this all goes. Anyway, on our on our call with us, it is the badass Big Ron Bets. Big Ron Bets. I want to create like a song for you, man. You should be a cartoon like us. Anyway.
Speak for yourself,
I can be Paul
dude.
Bunyan.
Paul Bunyan. Well, no, anyway, Big Ron Betts, dude, you do rock. We appreciate you giving us.
I
had some great laughs, and it was a pleasure.
Some time tonight. Anything?
Thank you very much.
You are welcome, my friend, and thank you for the equal admiration of what we do over here, because that's all we're doing. You know, we're pushing out, we're shining a light, we're saying this is free speech over here. So, anything in closing you want to add before we kind of wrap this up?
Just everybody who's listening, if you've got a band that you like or you want to find some new music, just go out there and get it. Support the local musicians, because, you know, we're out there and we all have fragile egos, and we need all the support we can get. And support your local venues as well, because they're businesses who are trying to make a dollar and give us musicians an opportunity to, to make some noise. So please go out there and support them to the best of your ability.
I love it. Big Ron Betts.
And support me as well, please.
Hang on. Yeah. And bring him into your loop there. Big Ron Betts on the line. Hang on the line, brother, man. We're going to a track,
yes, sir.
A remake from Neil Francis. Music Sounds Better With You. Hell yeah. It is the JB Rev Show. We'll be right back.
Ooh, baby, I feel like music sounds better with you. And love might bring us back together so good. I feel like music sounds better with you. And love might bring us back together. I feel so good. I feel so good. Ooh, baby, I feel like music sounds better with you. And love might bring us back together so good. I feel like music sounds better with you. And love might bring us back together. Bring us back together. Bring us back together. Feel so good. Feel so good. Music sounds better with you. Ooh, baby, I feel like music sounds better with you. And love might bring us back together so good. I feel like music sounds better with you. And love might bring us back together.
I got cash in fuck you quantities. Now what? That makes you uncomfortable. Fuck you and the Range Rover you drove in on. Fuck your Saab convertible and fuck your twice weekly trips to the analyst. Stupid motherfuck. Fuck the Hamptons, Maine, and fly-infested south of France. I'm paid, asshole. Got more cash than God can count. So why don't you just die?
Oh, there you go. That's a little bit of Brooklyn Funk Essential. And I Got Cash. Before that, you heard Neil Francis with Music Sounds Better With You. And right now, this is the JB Rev Show. I am JB Webb. That is Jack DeMarco hanging with me over there this week. How the hell are you doing, man? It's so great.
I'm good, man.
I appreciate you're able
Thanks
to
for having me back in.
I'm sad, though.
It's fun.
That
it's fun to sit in.
sad.
I know I got some big shoes to fill for the Rev.
Yeah. I'm just sad.
Why are you sad?
That you're not going to be here for the war on Christmas.
Yeah, I'm really sad too. I would have really liked to have been here. Unfortunately, fortunately and unfortunately, unfortunately I won't be here. But I'm going to visit the family up in the Bronx, New
That's
York.
right.
Up in the Bronx, going to do cool shit.
You brought that one up.
Maybe that's where it's at.
I got my mom tickets to see Andy Cohen
Nice. Okay.
live.
Andy
Watch
Cohen.
what would happen with Andy Cohen.
Yes. So what's going to happen? That's going to be crazy. What they record those shows, right?
No, they're live.
Oh, they're live.
Yeah.
But okay.
I mean,
they're not recorded for a future.
You want to hear that story? How that
broadcast?
happened?
What are you talking about?
How I got tickets to Andy Cohen live from my mom in New York.
Okay.
So,
all right. I guess if it's compelling, is it a breaking news badly story?
I mean, I think I like to say things compelling. Otherwise, I wouldn't say them. Are you going to zing me? Woo! Breaking news badly.
And now, breaking news badly.
I'm definitely breaking news badly this evening.
Okay. With Jack DeMarco. Breaking news badly with Jack DeMarco. All right.
That makes me sound like an investigative reporter right there. That last music.
That last one. Oh, so what have you uncovered for us? Here in the last
Uncovered
week?
in
with
the first
Jack DeMarco.
part, this is the personal part. He was telling us a story about how he got his mom tickets to see Andy Cohen in New York in an upcoming escapade of Jack DeMarco.
I was telling that story, but since we're going to do breaking news badly, or you want to hear that story, it's
No,
really
you were
not
going to
that.
tell the story. It's your story.
So my mom's a big Andy Cohen fan.
Okay.
Right. And I told you guys, at some point over the past couple weeks that Ricky Lake camped with us at Burning Man.
Yeah.
So
Andy, I remember that.
Andy and Ricky are friends.
Okay.
So apparently my mom knew this. I didn't know this.
This is like a Kevin Bacon story.
So my mom's like,
there.
hey, can you ask your friend Ricky Lake
Hey.
hey
girl,
can you ask Ricky
Lake.
to get tickets to BravoCon, which was this thing happening in New York. And so Ricky put me in touch with like Andy's person, his person.
Okay.
So they couldn't get my mom tickets to BravoCon because they were super sold out, and they were like, it was the first year or whatever. So failure. Yep. But she did offer tickets to one of his live episodes, and my mom I wanted to do it as a nice Christmas present for my mom and my sister who wanted to go. But then one of the dates that this, his person offered was when I'm going to be there. So my mom was like, well, do you think you can get 3 tickets? And I was like, I'm sure I could.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Okay.
So we got some, so I got 3 tickets to see Andy Cohen live.
And you did it kind of unconventionally.
Yeah, and then my mom, God bless her soul, like knitted. She crochets. She crocheted Andy's. She crocheted Andy's kid a blanket and wants to give it to him.
Okay,
she's such a sweet lady. I love her. Love you, Mom.
Oh, all right. Well, that's it. All right. Well, that's an adorable story to start out with, there, Jack. What do you? You got any real stories over there? That was like a personal update. That was awesome. Well, it's always good to be good. It's always good to respect your elders, and I'm glad you told that story.
Points, man.
No, well, I'm glad you told that story because some elders, are hard to respect, and some are much easier to respect.
No, I have manners because my mom taught me them. I respect her a lot. So, if getting Andy Cohen tickets makes her happy, then yeah. Anyway, moving on.
All right, fair enough.
That was breaking news badly. So, did you see what's going on? There was a 5K happening.
Okay, like a marathon run?
Yeah, it was some run. And some dude slapped a reporter's butt live on television while she was reporting.
Sweet.
Yeah. So, it was a 10K. It was a 10K racer slapped her butt. Turns out that the gentleman, I'm air quoting right now, the gentleman who slapped her butt is a youth minister.
Yeah, it.
A youth minister slapped a girl's butt on TV.
Wow.
Which relates exactly kind of what we were talking about earlier with Roger. Like, like how does this person consider himself a youth minister and then like go ahead and think it's okay to slap a reporter's ass while he's running by her
Good
in
job.
a 10K live on television?
Get in the game.
Good
I need
job.
to see more hustle
Good job,
from
Coach.
you, CNN slap. Okay, that's a salacious story. I got one to counter that.
Okay,
obviously
so we're going back and forth now. That's a new thing.
No, it's not a new thing. Go ahead.
No, I'm just kidding.
No,
dude.
follow your second. Go ahead. I don't want to. I don't want to bump your flow.
No, you go.
You are? Okay. I don't because I don't know.
I talk a lot of shit, man.
I was just doing the Peloton thing.
What's a Peloton thing?
So the Peloton is
you know what? I totally digress. I'm totally going to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Did you see the banana that sold for like $125,000?
Yeah.
At Art
That's
Basel
ridiculous.
in Miami.
What?
And then did you see on
The
top
guy-
of that,
yeah.
somebody ate it?
Right.
Some like other artist, like after it had sold for like $125,000 and was just like sitting on the wall, some other artist like walked up, took it off the wall, ate it, and was like, "Oh, I'm a performance artist." And he ate that $125,000 banana.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I had to interrupt you for that.
No, that's good.
I thought I'm funny, but
It was good.
Peloton. Tell me more about Peloton.
You've heard about this, where the commercial for the Peloton is like the woman who's here. Let's see. I can't play it right here, but
she's like
I will say,
exercising on
she's
top of the
exercising, and she's like
Empire
so
State
privileged.
Building.
She's already very thin, and anyway, but they made a big deal about that. I don't know if you've seen that.
What did they make a big deal about?
That she was like, here it is, backlash. The Lux stationary bike brand's new ad has some people rolling their eyes. Peloton faces backlash and ridicule over new holiday commercial. So basically, there's a woman in this whole thing that's like already in shape.
Riding the Peloton.
And then she rides the Peloton and is like, looks into the camera like, don't beat me, almost.
But she's in shape for riding the Peloton.
My life has changed because I'm doing this. Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. Maybe it was
realistically, what are they going to put, like
sycophantic for some people?
Like a big, heavy person up there on the bike? It's not going to sell anything.
That's what you want to, that's what I guess
you want to sell the end result. The end result is
maybe they just got,
Pretty Woman.
Maybe they didn't want to do
Pretty
that commercial.
Woman.
They wanted to cause the controversy.
Maybe.
Then they achieved that.
Maybe they did.
Anyway.
So, if doing heroin's not bad enough.
Okay.
There's a segue.
Good one.
Heroin users in San Diego have to be worried that in the last 2 months, 7 people have died.
Whoa.
From a flesh-eating bacteria that is in the heroin. So the heroin's not killing them.
What?
Apparently there's some
From
flesh-eating
the inside?
Yeah.
From the inside?
Yeah.
How they do the heroin? They inject it, I guess, or snort it, or...
how else do people do black
I
tar
don't
heroin?
know.
They
I
fucking
don't know.
heat that shit up on a spoon, make it liquid, and then they put it in a vein.
So then it gets...
And then there's some sort of, it's...
The flesh-eating
myonecrosis.
part, I don't understand. Yeah.
It's an outbreak of myonecrosis.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's the most serious
It's
the
gross.
county has seen in the 10 years.
It's almost like a word like leprosy.
So, if being a drug addict heroin user is not bad enough, you can die
Thanks,
from...
Jack. Really kind of brought us down there with all that.
Sorry. And then the odder news of odd, a bodybuilder proposed to his sex doll after getting it plastic surgery.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That makes
After 8 months of dating, Kazakhstan-based actor and bodybuilder Yuri Tolachko is telling the world he recently brought his girlfriend Margot cosmetic, and I'm air quoting, cosmetic surgery, and then he proposed to her. But yet Margot is a silicone sex doll. He treats his bride-to-be as a living lady, maintaining an Instagram for her where he documents her escapades and her evening out.
Right.
He even claims to have found Margot a waitressing position at a local bar.
Right.
I mean, we could all have our fantasies.
That's crazy, dude.
Plastic Margot. Oh, poor Margot. That's all I got. Unless you want to talk about aliens, because people did see mysterious lights hovering over Arizona.
I'm a snake. I'm a slithery little sneaky snake. I'm so slithery and sneaky because I'm a snake. Slithering in your garden, catching me a mouse.
Sorry about that. All right, that's our commercial for snakes in the middle of breaking news badly.
What the fuck was that? That was hot.
Sorry about that.
I feel oddly invigorated.
Right. Well, that's good. That's good. As you damn well should, sir. Speaking of invigorated, I have an audio clip. Hold on. It's from Eddie the Shaman. Hold on.
Oh, hello, Eddie the Shaman.
Come in, guys. Come in, guys. It's me. Hey! Well, good morning, Joel and Sabrina. Thanks. It's me, Eddie the Shaman, coming from you from another galaxy, another plane, or maybe just next door. But what's most important is, let's be thankful. Are you thankful? Have you ever thought to yourself, am I thankful? Have you ever said out loud, I'm not thankful enough? Well, that's right.
I feel like I'm on
You're
meth.
not being thankful enough. Why? Here's
It's a little video they
what
made.
the fuck? Keep that going. I felt like I was on a meth vacation.
I want you to turn to the person to your left in the audience, and I want you to say to them, I'm thankful! I'm thankful! And hold it for 4 to 5 seconds, because when your energy flows for your thankfulness, they're going to feel it inside their inner child.
Eddie the Shaman. Eddie the Shaman. We had him on here as a
you
guest.
just
He
said
used
that
to
like
be
a
on
minute ago.
The,
Where did my brain
Phillips
go?
File.
Holy fuck.
And anyway, that was a video I found of his that I thought, man, this guy is just so infectiously awesome. So I thought I'd play that for you guys. And then I got one here. It is from The Hill. They selected,
like, the political paper, The Hill, like the political website.
Yeah, it is. The title is "They Selected as Word of the Year."
I saw that
by Merriam-Webster.
I should have chosen that.
The word "they," yeah, the word "they" is 2019 Word of the Year. The dictionary added the singular "they" to refer to one person whose gender identity is non-binary in September. Merriam-Webster noted that the singular "they" was prominent in the news throughout the year, citing Rep. Pramila Jayapal's, Democrat from Washington, comments during a House Judiciary Committee on the Equality Act in April that her child is gender nonconforming,
gender neutral,
and uses the pronoun "they."
You know, I always found it really interesting, the "they," and maybe it is. Maybe I'm an old man. Get off your lawn. But I just
get off my gender.
No, it wasn't about gender for me. No, wait. Hear me out. It wasn't about gender for me. It was about plurality. Like, I never understood how a singular person could say "they." Like, I prefer the pronoun "they," but you're singular.
That reminds me of like a legion.
But you're
like
singular, so like, how
is "they"?
What?
A demons are "they"?
Really?
Of course they are. Legion. They amass into one, just like the humans amass into one. I think that's.
But
the
do you know what I'm saying?
life.
Like, I don't have a problem with the pronoun "they," and like I was saying earlier, like, I have no problem not accepting things and saying things and enlightening our humanity. But my problem is singularity versus plurality. Like, "they" is plurality. So because a singular person.
Anyway, I just thought that was interesting.
I'm sorry, did I bring it down?
No.
That's really depressing.
No. Hold on. Was there something about Nancy Pelosi? Nancy Pelosi?
What do you think of Nancy Pelosi?
Major spikes in searches for terms happened on dates including September 25th, when Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced the formal start of the inquiry.
What was that?
The dictionary added that impeach was also among the top words of 2019.
Oh, this is more Merriam stuff.
A little bit more, from that same story. Anyway. What else do I got for you?
That's it?
I don't know. Okay, we got that one.
Radio silence.
What is this? Oh, this is a very cool video game. Do you play video games?
Not really.
I don't really either. But this one is called Ancestors. And basically it lets you come up from evolutionary being into a human.
It's like an app?
No, it's like a game. It's on like Xbox
like on a
and all
PC.
that.
Oh, it's on Xbox.
Yeah, it's like a progressive, strategic kind of game. Anyway, it is fascinating, this little promo, but that kind of brings to mind in my mind, like people are gonna, with the escapism and what people want to get away from, or think, that they, it's not harming them to be, killing people in a video game. Right. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting. The whole video game is based on you are a monkey and you become a human.
You mean evolution?
Yeah, that's what the game is about. Yeah.
But that's not really evolution.
All right.
Okay. What's happening now?
Oh, I was trying to play this clip. I don't know why it's not playing.
Play the clip.
Anyway.
Play the clip.
I can't. Oh, here it is.
Have you heard from the bag lately?
No, the bag's very busy. It's shopping season.
Some tanks to be bought around here at any price. What good is having $68 million? I ask you.
Well, this morning it's good for getting a lot of paper signed for Mr. Drisey.
I was doing that when I left here.
All right, that's good. We'll do some Weird Al Yankovic. Close the news out.
We'll see Weird Al? Is he having it right now?
We'll see you next week. Yeah, this is Money for Nothing, Beverly Hillbillies edition. We'll see you next week.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Christmas. Happy holidays. Thank you, Jack. We'll play the sponsor crawl, another song. Breaking news badly. Bye.
Listen to my story. A little story about a man named Jed. You know something, that poor mountaineer, they say he barely kept his family fed. Now let me tell you, one day he was shooting. Old Jed was shooting at some food, when all of a sudden right up from the ground there, well, it came a bubbling crude. All that is, well, maybe you call it black gold, the Texas tea. He gonna move next to Mr. Drysdale and be a Beverly Hillbilly. Before you know it, all the kinfolk are saying, yeah, buddy, move away from there. That little Clampett got his own cement pond. That little Clampett, he's a millionaire. Now everyone said California is the place that you ought to be. We got to load up this here truck now. We got to move to Beverly Hills, that is. Swimming pools. Move on, movie stars. Huh. Look at that, look at that. Y'all come back now here.
want to thank PolkasHottest.com,
Hey, Mr. Jones.
ShannonHoltArt.com, OrangeBlossomBrewing.com, It'sWellBoutique.com, BadassSandwiches.com, Infotainment.com, Kush Ultra Lounge, Dank Orlando City Smoke Shop, Orlando Art Army, Iron Cafe, Iron Cow Cafe, thank you, Kathmandu Winter Park, GroundingRoots.com, EarTheater.usdjs.com, Nora's Wine Cigars.com, LittleIndies.org, and RemixRecordShop.com. Thank you so much. Season 10 of the JB Rev Show keeps rocking. That's how we do it. Local businesses are awesome. Thank you.
Just wait for watch me now, hallelujah. I think they like it now, they moving, they moving. Just wait for watch me now, hallelujah. I think they like it now, they moving, they moving. What you want, your invitation, but I ain't gon' give you none. Well, how long have you been waiting? I don't give no fuss. I ain't gon' give you none. I don't give no fuss. Bet I could make you move, make you move, make you move on time. You ready for it? Bet I could make you move, make you move, make you move with my mind. Just wait for watch me now, hallelujah. I think they like it now, they move and they moving. Just wait for watch me now, hallelujah. I think they like it now, they move and they moving. What you want, your invitation. Just wait for watch me now, but I ain't gon' give you none. Just wait for watch me now. Well, how long have you been waiting? Just wait for watch me now. I don't give no fuss. Just wait for watch me now. I ain't gon' give you none. I don't give no fuss. Bet I could make you move, make you move, make you move on time. Bet I could make you move, make you move, make you move with my mind. And if you're lucky, if you're lucky, if you're lucky, if you're lucky, I just might. Yeah, I could show you something, show you something you like. Yeah, I could show you something, show you something you like. What you want, your invitation. Just wait for watch me now. But I ain't gon' give you none. Just wait for watch me now. Well, how long have you been waiting? Just wait for watch me now. But I don't give no fuss. Just wait for watch me now. I ain't gon' give you none. I don't give no fuss. How long have you been waiting? And I don't give no fuss. That's all I got.
WJBW, Orlando, Florida. The first quasi-radio web show.
Wow. Yeah.